Welcome to Fantasy Football Hub. Today I'm delighted to be joined by FPL Salah to preview the upcoming game week, in which Abdul will be using his free hit chip. We're going to go through his players, his current draft, player by player, getting some reasoning and some logic behind each individual pick. I'm excited to see what you're going for, Abdul. Any interesting picks in there? We'll have to wait and see. First of all, mate, how are you doing? Was last week okay? And second of all, let's jump straight into the team.
Yeah, all good, Jack. Last week was okay. It was like a small green arrow. So I was happy to hold rank, but this is the big week, as you know, free hit week.
This is it. This is where the gains could be made.
Yeah.
It does seem like a lot of people are on free hit, but in reality, we are in some sort of, Twitter, YouTube bubble. Not everyone is using their free hit this week, but obviously you are and hoping to make some gains. All right, Let's go straight into the first player that you've chosen.
Okay, I'll start off with the goalkeepers, Jack. So I've gone for Johnston for Crystal Palace, and the backup keeper I was going for Everton. I might go for the second Palace keeper, Whitworth. It just depends, on the budget, on what my final team will be. But yeah, so Crystal Palace in the defence, they've got they're playing Everton at home. They've got the third favourite to keep a clean sheet this week at 44%. So clean sheet odds are good, and he probably very good chance of making saves as well. So yeah, pretty simple goalkeeper choice.
Okay, yeah, seems to be the kind of not template keeper, but the one that a lot of people are going for. I think I'll have Johnson as well, to be fair. Seems like a pretty solid pick. Okay, let's move on to the defenders. Now, what I want to do, which I think works quite well, is let's do the obvious picks first, the ones that you're going to see in a lot of drafts, and we'll come to the contentious ones later. So let's start with an obvious pick in defence, if there is one.
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
Absolutely nailed. Liverpool are the second favourites to keep a clean sheet. They're at 54%, only an Arsenal at 56%, so there's only 2% difference. He's got attacking threat. He's been playing a slightly different position in the last few games as well. Seems to be a lot more attacking, from he was at the start of the season up until actually only a few games ago. So yeah, Nottingham Forest at home, Jack, doesn't get much better than that, does it really? Okay.
Let's leave for a second whether you're going to go with a second Liverpool defender. We'll wait on that third slot. So how about your second defender slot?
Okay, so Kieran Trippier.
Yeah.
The thing with Trippier is that, again, if you look at the clean sheet odds, right, is that they're the fourth favourites after Palace, so at 38%. So not only have they got a good clean sheet odds, they're at home, and Trippier is one of those players, Jack. He gets one assist. Doesn't have to get a clean sheet, and he'll be in for bonus points. I just simply think he's in the top, one of the top three defenders for this game week. So I know a lot of people. I know he's going to be pretty much a dead pick in terms of he's going to be over 90% owned. But I think it's if he had a tougher fixture, I probably wouldn't have got him. But I just think the fixtures there, Tottenham don't look great. So yeah, Trippier.
So actually, I think the fixture isn't even that bad, despite it being Tottenham. I guess, is there anyone else that you could go for in that slot that has more upside? But you're saying no, not really.
No, I think, to be fair, I think it depends on whether to go for a double Liverpool defence or just a single Liverpool defence and double Liverpool attack. But yeah, there are. You can go for Guehi, you can go for Marino. Depending on kind of which three Arsenal and which three Liverpool you have. So yeah, there's definitely a kind of options there, but I just don't see forsaking Trippier just for the sake of it this season. For this game week, being a good shout again. If the fixture was harder, maybe even if it was an away game at Spurs or a tougher fixture, I would take the risk of going without him, but I like the fixture, and again, he's got attacking threat. He's created the most chances out of all defenders in the league this season, and he's still got the highest XA out of all the defenders also. So just a great pick within himself.
Yeah, absolutely right. My reasoning for going with him is he takes one corner, even they lose the game 2-1, takes one corner, gets the assist, then you're looking at 7-8 points because he's so good for baseline, as you said.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to midfield. We'll leave either, I don't know what formation you're playing. Could be five defenders, who knows? Seems unlikely, but you never know. Let's just go on to midfield and let's go to the obvious players there as well.
Okay, so Salah, obviously, I think 100% owned. Is going to be my captain, without a doubt as well. I just think, the fixture this week, and we know what Salah's capable of, and he seems to be, back in the groove. So definitely Salah. And I don't think there's much debate on the captaincy either this week.
Okay, and that's captaincy locked up.
Yeah.
Anyone else in midfield that's obvious? Now, I imagine you'll have at least one Arsenal midfielder. Let's do the Arsenal midfielders / midfielder. Let's see what you're going with.
Okay, so Saka.
Yeah.
Nailed to start on penalties. I know he's, I think he's got something like 1 and 0 points in the last 3 weeks, but that doesn't bother me one bit. His underlying numbers are still there. Still a fantastic option. His points will come. And I mean, the fixture for Arsenal this week doesn't get much better, Jack. I mean, Southampton at home, that could be, this is why, the triple Arsenal is so important, because I mean, this scoreline could be huge. And it's just about nailing those 3 Arsenal players that you get this week as well, I think.
Now, obviously, we haven't seen who your last or your third, fourth defenders are going to be, but I'll be interested to see if you do go for the upside with the Arsenal picks and go for 3 attackers. So, do you have another Arsenal midfielder?
Yeah, I have Martinelli.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, from the Arsenal midfielders, he's one of the most goal threat, and he's been the one actually in form in the last say 5 to 6 game weeks. And yeah, when you're going for a triple Arsenal, for a home game at Southampton, then you've got to pick the 2 highest scoring midfielders in terms of goal threat as well. So them 2 are absolutely nailed in my team.
Okay, so you said you're going for triple Arsenal. Let's finish off the Arsenal players. Is it going to be a midfielder or a forward?
Okay, so right now it's a midfielder, so I've gone for Odegaard.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, I did not expect that. That's first interesting pick there. The video has begun. Here we go.
I thought you wouldn't expect that as well.
No, I didn't expect that at all. Okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
I'll explain because I mean, I see this free hit. I thought it was going to be quite simple, quite template, but it's actually caused me a bit of a headache because I've got so many different variations I could go for.
Right.
But yeah, so at the moment I've got Saka, Martinelli, Salah, and Odegaard. Right, that's my 4 midfielders.
Okay, well we have to jump in on that and just so Saka and Martinelli. Well, okay, can you first of all could you rank those 3 in terms of the order that you've selected them?
Yeah, so Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard.
Okay, so the decision then is Odegaard v Jesus. Now, obviously, we're going to come into your forwards and see who you're going with, but just right now, why is Jesus not on your team?
Okay, so the reason is that I just trust Odegaard's minutes more, right? So with Jesus, he's got the upside. I mean, I was looking at his stats. He's still got the highest XG amongst the Arsenal players, right? Despite him being injured for so long, he's had 24 big chances, right? And Martinelli, who's had the second most big chances, for Arsenal, has got 14. So he's absolutely like a volume player. We know that he's a volume player. He gets the chances. He gets the good goal scoring positions. Probably not the best finisher, but the important thing is he gets in those positions, right? So he could get a huge haul and he will get the chances, but there's a chance he could come off in the 55th minute. He could get 60, 65. We don't know. And with game week 23 being midweek as well, I do think players like Jesus, players who tend to get subbed off first will get reduced minutes this week. And with Odegaard, I think he's pretty much really safe for at least 80 minutes at least. So that's the reason there at the moment. It's a safer pick. I think Odegaard is a safer pick. Jesus is a high upside pick. I mean, look, he could get 55 minutes. He got 59 minutes. Oh, it was 3 game weeks ago. I can't remember who he was against, but he scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
So even within that time slot, he could get a huge haul. So yeah. So I mean, Odegaard and Jesus. That's one of my dilemmas this week as well. So I'm really not sure which one I'll go for. I could end up going for Jesus, but at the moment, I've got my sensible hat on and I'm going for Odegaard.
Okay. Right, let's move on to the forwards now before we finish off, seeing if you have an extra midfielder. Let's start with an obvious pick up there, if there is one.
Yeah, I think Watkins is the obvious pick here. He's just been absolutely phenomenal, and I do think Brentford's a good fixture for him as well, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, attacking wise, I think Villa, they're on like a 9-game unbeaten run. They've won their last 8 games. They're absolutely flying. Watkins is flying, and I think it's his underlying numbers are there also. So yeah, I think Watkins again. He's another kind of You'd say dead pick. He's going to be over 90% owned, but he's going to be that 90% owned for a reason. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth the risk to kind of go without him.
Yeah. I think unlike Trippier, where maybe you could suggest there is a little bit of, it's more a lack of other options, which is the reason we are maybe going for him. With Watkins, it's obvious. The form of his life, just if his haul in the last game, it wasn't justification to put him in here, then I don't know what is. Okay, so that is 8 players selected.
Yeah.
I think now I couldn't pick which players you're going to go for. Odegaard is interesting over Jesus, but right now, I think those are kind of the obvious picks done. Up to you now. Where do you want to go next?
We'll finish off the forwards.
Okay.
I mean, which two do you think? I mean, just if you were to take a guess, which two do you think?
Yeah, so I think it's a really interesting one, the forwards, because I have a feeling that you may have gone with Kane, which is an unpopular pick. Okay, so you haven't gone with Kane, right? Okay, so I've got that one wrong. There you go. That's I don't know. Like for me, I'm happy to go with Kane this week personally. I just think he's Kane. Yeah, fine. I know the reasons to not go for him. Newcastle, very good defensively at home. No forward has scored more than 6 points. There's no super high ceiling. I understand that, but in any normal given game week, there is no way that I would pick someone like a Solanke over Kane. So I don't know why I'd do it this week, but I want to hear your thoughts. So my guess is going to be Solanke and Ivan Toney.
Yeah, so Ivan Toney, right? We'll go with that one first.
Okay,
right. But look, if I could get Kane in there instead of Ivan Toney, I would.
Okay,
right? But obviously it's a budget thing as well. When you spend your cash out, it's pretty hit. But interestingly on Kane as well, right? I was looking at I actually posted the anytime goal scorer odds, this morning, and he's actually at 34%. Which I was really surprised at. Yeah, I mean, I knew he was going to be, I knew he wasn't going to be near 50, but I thought he'd be maybe around 40. But 34%, which even kind of thing just kind of solidifies my decision to go out without him. But yeah, I mean, the Newcastle fixture is tough, and the bookies odds are reflecting that as well.
Guys, if you don't know what Abdul is talking about here, you post a really really interesting stat every week, which is the bookies odds in terms of who's going to keep clean sheets, who they think are going to keep clean sheets, and who is most likely to score a goal based on the odds. And that's quite. I like that. I like that you do that because it's different to underlying stats and kind of prediction models. It's more based on, I don't know, maybe. You talk to me.
Yeah, the reason why I find this helpful, Jack, is because when you look at the bookies, the way they collate these odds, it's done through mass research and mass historical stats.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really get much more accurate in terms of the pricing that they're giving. Obviously, they have their margins there. So if you'll get a player maybe at 50% to score a goal, his actual kind of probability will be maybe 46, 47.
Sure.
But with the bookies, you need to kind of up their margin, to make the profit. But obviously, the reason I post them is for FPL purposes, not for betting or betting tips, just to make that clear. But I do find it very helpful for FPL.
And guys, Abdul's Twitter is on screen if you want to see that each and every week. I presume the majority of you follow him already, and if you don't, what are you doing? It's honestly, genuinely, the clean sheet odds and the goal scoring odds are something that I do look out for every week because they really do inform my decision making. Okay, so that's Toney in.
Yeah.
So you said that Kane is low down. Talk to me about Ivan Toney. Why is he in the team?
He's just a great pick, and he's got a home fixture against Villa. I mean, I think the Villa and Brentford fixture is really hard to call.
Yeah.
I think there'll be goals in it for both teams. I can see that being a 2-1 to either team, or maybe a 2-2. And even if it's and whoever scores for Villa and Brentford, the two talismans are Watkins and Toney. So you'd think even if that ends 1-1, it's most likely to be Toney and Watkins scoring. So, but I do think that'll be a high scoring game. Toney again. He's one of those players. He's a 90-minute man. He's on penalties, and he's not going to be kind of prone to being taken off early due to game week 23 being midweek. So, yeah, he's just a great pick in isolation.
Is there anything? Obviously, you've mentioned the form of Villa and how well they've been playing in their last 8 games, especially, and Emery's just doing absolute wonders there. Anything in your mind thinking that they're just going to continue that form and there'll be little that Brentford can do about it? Obviously, their form recently hasn't been as good as it was earlier in the season.
I mean, maybe it's just one. It's like a really hard game to call.
Yeah.
And Brentford have been good going forward. They've got a good I mean, Tony, when Tony plays, I mean, I think that kind of reduces Villa's chances of a clean sheet by a huge margin. So I just think when you look at that, he's got Brentford. They've got a home fixture against Villa. Yes, Villa have been great, but they're not a City or an Arsenal. They're not at that caliber of defense. So yeah, they have got 6 clean sheets in the last 8 games, which is fantastic. But there is a slight over performance in that as well. They have been good, but yeah, I just think to be honest, I don't see Brentford not scoring in that game, with it being a home game. So, and then if you look at other options, you've got there's not really much there apart from Jesus. So again, if I do decide to go for Jesus, which I was talking about earlier, it will be for Ivan Toney.
Okay.
But, yeah, just a great pick in isolation, and not compared to who else, not other players I can pick in that position.
All right then, and now we move on to potentially the most contentious pick of this entire draft. We've left it open. Actually, to be fair, you could even throw a forward in there with Jota being back in the team. The Liverpool player, the last Liverpool player in your team. I presume you're going for 3. Is it going to be a defender, a midfielder, or a forward?
Yeah. Have we done the 3 forwards, or have we done 2 forwards?
Well, we haven't done them because.
Okay. So we'll go for
yeah.
Okay. So the third Liverpool is Robertson. So I've gone. For
Okay.
Yeah. And even that, Jack, is I've not decided on that either, because I'm really tempted by GAKPO.
Yeah.
And so going for Salah and GAKPO in midfield, and go for a triple, a double Liverpool attack. So, but at the moment I've got Robertson because I've got my sensible hat on, and I think looking at the clean sheet odds, and he should definitely start that game. And he's got attacking threat. The only thing putting me off that is that Liverpool's defense this season has been terrible. If you look at their expected goals conceded, they're like below bottom 10. And so I mean, but again, it's Forest at home, and he's got the attacking threat there as well. So, and I think he's probably got he will get more minutes than GAKPO. I do think GAKPO will start. Again, the risk with him is coming off earlier, around the 60th minute mark. But if I do go for GAKPO, then I'll be hoping obviously he gets about 70 plus. That should be enough.
I got a couple of questions on this selection. First of all, Robertson's positioning and the new kind of structure of that defense with Trent coming inside. Do you think that he may be slightly less attacking? I don't know, but it seemed to me that he was playing slightly more inside himself, but dropping back into more of a back 3, letting Trent come into midfield, as we've seen with the the 3-2-5 that all the big teams seem to be playing right now.
Yeah, that is a concern. I think I've had of comparisons to Ake, the Ake position where Pep plays, and I mean it is concerning. It is just the 1 or 2 games, but it's one of those where it's like it's a small sample size, but it obviously worked against Leeds, the 1-6-1. So, Pep might stick with it. Even with him playing that position, I guess, he has still got, some attacking threat, obviously not as much as when he's playing, the left back role. But yeah, that is definitely a concern. The thing is, the alternative for me is GAKPO. And even with, Robbo playing in that position, a slightly more, conservative position in terms of his attacking threat, is he still better than, is GAKPO still better than Robertson even, in that position? Because I do think, 54% chance of clean sheet is quite a bit. And but the thing is, this is another game that could end, 4 or 5-0. Liverpool, they've scored 9 goals against Bournemouth. They scored 7 against United. They scored, 6 against Leeds. I think there's another team that scored 5 against, can't remember, but they've got it in them to score easy 4 or 5 goals. And if that happens, then GAKPO with even GAKPO with 65-70 minutes could haul big again. So yeah, it's definitely a decision which I've not truly decided on yet.
Well, that was going to be my next question. You mentioned about Arsenal having huge haul potential just to batter Southampton. Yeah, I was going to ask you if you thought that was the same. That was the same in the Liverpool v Forest game. Would you not therefore go for an attacker and try and chase that big upside? But yeah, there you go. You've kind of said your piece. Forest away from home defensively against Liverpool. Are
Sorry.
you harboring much? Are you harboring much hope for Forest in this game, or do you think it might be a quite considerable
No,
win
I think
for
it'll be
Liverpool?
a considerable
Okay.
win. The thing is, I mean, like a Forest at home, on paper, we can only go on stats and what we see in front of us, and it doesn't get much better as a fixture, a Forest at home. So yeah, I'm expecting at least 3 goals.
Okay. Now I think, as you say, the reasons for going for Gakpo or Robertson aren't just down to them as individuals. It's also who would you have in place of them if you went with the
Yeah,
other one. So the reason for not going Gakpo may be due to who you're going to have as your third or your eighth attacker, your seventh attacker. So is it going to be a midfielder or is it going to be a forward, and who is it?
okay. So I've not decided actually yet which of these I'm going to play. So I'll go with the
Okay,
midfielder, right, which is
right.
Bowen. So I've gone for Bowen. I think he's going to be. I think I need a pick in there which is quite low, like which is going to be quite low owned, and I don't see many people going for Bowen.
Mm.
And I just think the opportunity is there. They're playing Bournemouth, who have conceded the most goals in the league, and they've got the second worst XGC in the league as well. And they're there for the taking in terms of defence. I know West Ham have been great going forward, but Bowen's got I think a 1 goal and 2 assists in the last 3 games. He's a 90-minute man. Again, he's one of those players where he'll be the one the last ones to come off, and get subbed. So I think there's an opportunity there for a good little differential in Bowen.
Bowen's a nice pick. I've not seen that in any draft really.
Yeah.
I think West Ham of late have really gone back to what they tried and tested of last season.
Mm-hmm.
They've kind of Moyes has kind of seemed to me even to sack off the fancier picks and Skamaka and Aguerd and just gone back to the brutality of Antonio, just powerful running in straight lines, causing havoc, and obviously that creates a lot of space for Bowen. I have to ask you, they are playing in the Conference League against Ghent on Thursday. Is that a consideration in terms of the effect that will have and potential fatigue?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, they will obviously to take off players and the rest. But I think again, Bowen is one of those players who'll be one of the last ones to come off.
Yeah.
He's the one who if you look at his starts and his minutes over the season, he's only not played 90 minutes in 2 games, in 2 league games this season. He started every single league game, and he's and the time he's came off was like on the 88th and 87th minute. So he's as nailed as they come, and he's as secure as they come when it comes to minutes.
Okay. So your eighth attacker, then, from what you're saying, I can kind of guess that it's not going to be Sam Greenwood. It's not going to be fodder. It's going to be an option. Who have you gone for?
Dominic Solanke.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Bournemouth have been good at home. Again, he's 5.5 million, so good value as well. And obviously that kind of takes up all the budget. And yeah, but if I end up going for this team, Jack, I don't know which one of Solanke or Bowen I'll play yet. I'll probably favour Bowen more, just because I think he's got them. He's the midfielder, gets some more points for the goals, and there's potentially a big haul in there for him. I know Solanke got like a 15-point haul against Spurs, but that was probably a bit of a one-off. I can't see him getting 3 attacking returns, again this season. So I think Bowen's the one with the more upside.
I think according to the hubs predicted, or that their models, the difference between these two and their predicted points is just 0.1, so it's extremely close. I think surely that pick just comes down to how you think the game will go and who you think's more likely to score more goals. But if you're not if it's close one, then the midfielder has the upside just for the points potential, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the 11 then. I guess the 12 really, because that's a tough decision of who to play out of them two.
Yeah.
Let's finish the team and then we'll have a look at your game week rating and predicted points. So let's just flesh it out. Who are the 2 bench options?
So it's only the 2 defenders we've got left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Shar and Gehi.
Okay. And reasoning behind them two, obviously not the most important. They'll be second and third bench.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got the money there, so I'm going to go for Shar over, like a Botman or a Marino. I think he's better options than them. And again, Newcastle, like as I was saying, Newcastle and Palace are 44% to keep a clean sheet, and Newcastle are right behind them at 38%. So just going for the best picks, really, just in case, worst case scenario, one of the players gets injured in the warm up or whatever.
Yeah,
so just have good options there.
Yeah, you never know, of course. Okay, So, according to the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tool, and guys, if you want to do this yourself and plug your own free hit drafts in and see what the model is saying in terms of predicted points, game week rating, team rating, the link, as always, is down below in the description. A great tool. You've seen us build it. It's good fun, and it tells you where you may or may not be going wrong, and what picks may or may not be as good as you think they are in your head. Or, but I say it's good to go with your gut sometimes as well, despite what models say. I will say that. So, according to the tool, a game week rating of 99%.
Oof. Wow.
Now, in my opinion, that is not 100%. So, where do you think that the little last point might be going awry? Where do you think your little differential is that is not optimal according to the algorithm?
I think it would be. Is it the Bowen pick?
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm asking this as an open-ended question, but I think that it may well be.
Because I mean, who's it playing? Is it playing Solanke or Bowen?
It's playing Bowen by 0.1. Yeah, it's playing Bowen by 0.1. But if you take a look at, I don't know,
I'm not sure where that 1%.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it maybe favours an Arsenal defender there instead of Odegaard. I think that might be one. Going for maybe Trent, Robbo, and Gabriel.
Yeah,
and then doing Odegaard to Eze or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Let's talk about that. No Palace forwards, or midfielders or attackers against Everton, who are very porous away from home. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's so the two positions which I'm not sure on at the moment is Odegaard and Bowen, right? Bowen could become Maddison, right? Odegaard could become Eze, and then Tony becomes Jesus. So again, so Bowen, Solanke, Odegaard, and I guess even that third, the second defender, Robertson. These are all like those four positions are really kind of up in the air. So again, if Robertson, if I go for GAKPO, as in my fifth midfielder, then Robbo becomes, someone else. Odegaard could become Eze. Tony could become Jesus. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I really thought this one was going to be quite a simple free hit, but there's quite a few variations there, which I'm not sure about at the moment.
Interestingly, I've put Maddison in for Bowen, and that has given you the 100% game week rating.
Oh,
predicted to score 0.5 points more.
Okay, wow. I mean, Maddison has got a good fixture. And yeah, I just think with Bowen, I mean, he's got that, the fact that he's going to be a lot lower owned. I think Maddison will be fairly highly owned. But yeah, I mean, 0.5 is quite a big margin, to be honest, in terms of points.
If it's no real, I mean, the difference in their price is 0.1, so it's an interesting one. Okay, so according to the tool, 72.6 predicted points. Would you take that?
74.
72.6. Let's round it up. 73.
I guess so. I mean, hopefully the average is about 50, so then 70 would be a good score. But yeah, I guess I'd take that.
To be fair,
sounds like a good score.
Yeah, the surrounding game weeks as well, I think, as you've mentioned a lot, are also integral to valuing or judging the success of the free hit chip. It's obviously not just in this one game week, and you've had some good weeks around this leading up to this free hit. So in theory, it's done well for you already.
Yeah. I guess the plan has worked. From game week 26 wildcard. I think obviously the Liverpool game was kind of a freak result, which kind of set us back, but I think from there on in, it's gone as well as it could have.
Okay, then. So that is the team. Obviously, This is a draft. This is made on Wednesday, so still lots of things that could happen. A Bowen injury, for example, in their game on Thursday could change everything. So we're gonna have to wait and see for Abdul's final team reveal over on the Fantasy Football Hub website. Link to that is down below. That'll be up before the deadline, which is 6:30 this Friday.
Yeah, it's a Friday deadline.
Yeah, watch out. I mean, that would be the worst thing. First of all, make sure you've activated the free hit chip. I don't know how people don't. Have you ever done that? Ever not activated the chip?
I've never done that. I'd be too fearful. Like, I activate the wild card or free hit straight away. I've seen too many cases of people forgetting. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, why would you not activate your wild card or free hit?
I don't get it either. I've never done it, but just people do it every time. And there will be people, you'll see people do it. So just make sure you've done that. And also make sure to go over and check out Abdul's picks, because obviously this is a draft. And as you've said, a few decisions still hang in the balance. So we're going to have to wait and see. Guys, a quick little message from me before we end today's video. I'm running the London Marathon this Sunday, the 23rd of April, and I'm trying to raise as much money as I possibly can for Kids, an amazing charity based here in the UK that does great things for young disabled children and their families. No matter the disability, they help out in whatever way they can. As you can see on screen, currently raised over £5,000. And why not? Let's try and get as much money as possible. It's a great cause, and I'd massively appreciate any donations. I've left the link in the description and the pinned comment. If you do want to donate, I would love it tremendously. All right, thank you very much, guys. And that is going to do it for this one. See you on the next.